This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
This table is really tilted.
Excuse me? Am I gonna get a chance to speak?
Maybe I should take that back.
Denied. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Take a giant step for mankind.
Welcome to the Tilted Table with your hosts, Sean and Joe.
Folks, welcome to another episode of the Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I am Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And you can find us on all major social media platforms at the Tilted Table 1. Like, subscribe, ring bells.
Ring the bells. Ring all the bells.
Send emails.
Yes.
Contact us. Tell us we suck. Tell us you love us. We don't give a shit.
For all of our legions of intergalactic fans out there, the one and only Sean Kabibi-san.
Yeah, you know what? I've sold, at this point, about 100 copies of my book, and I've done zero promotion. Really, honestly, I don't do any promotion, right? We've already gone through this on other episodes of the Tilted Table. But what's stunning to me is that as much as people have bought my book, and again, I know all my friends, group of, maybe say 10 or 15 people that have bought my book, a lot of them have never listened to this podcast. They're like, oh, you got a podcast? And I'm like, dude, you're friends with me, so you don't see it. He goes, oh, no, I have seen that. So that's you? Yeah, it's me. Who the fuck you think it is? It's ridiculous. Who are you people?
So how does that? How do you actively tell people? Because I'm with you on that one. I actually don't. I promote it, Tilted Table podcast, like in my blogging and some of my work marketing related materials. It's just a fun thing that you and I get to do together. But
oh yeah, no, I don't tell. That's the funny thing. Again, it's like a part of the fact that I just have not. I've never been that much into self promotion in that way.
Right.
So I don't really think about it. I rarely am out. I think it's. I wonder if it's the way that we do this podcast, because we literally show up to my house, go up into my studio, and everything's set up. It takes us 2 minutes to fire it up and start talking.
Or less.
Even less than that sometimes. And like ultimately, like once we're done, hey, you go your way and I go my way, and I just don't. Once it's done, like I don't think about it. So it's like when I'm going out, going like, oh, so what'd you do today? Well, I'll tell you what I did today. I recorded the latest episode of the Tilted Table, and here's, you got to go. I just don't think about it. People have discovered it though, and they're like, I didn't know you had a podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, I got a podcast. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? You never talk about it. I'm like, I never think about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, man, I've gotten actually some really good feedback, and I do like our kind of adjusted format rather than playing virtual tennis back and forth on your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Is just on our freestyle mode.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's
actually, this has been very freeing. I'm glad we're not, planning anything.
It's very organic.
Yeah, this is purely organic. And right now, for the audience that's listening, they're sitting in almost total darkness right now.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I just said, like, do you want me to turn on a light? And it's like, nah, because it would just be like a light in a damn room, right? Like any other bedroom. And I'm like, I need to get some like LEDs, some like mood lighting.
Do you want to
have any of that?
Or do like I can hook up some like old school neon bars where you can just lay on the floor.
We could do something like that, but LEDs are, I think, way better because you can make them like wave and do all kinds of color changes.
Lava lamps.
Yeah. Well, I actually used to have those.
Ooh, yes. How about one of those? I actually have an extra one. Do you remember? I don't remember what it's called, but they used to sell them at Radio Shack or. It's like a glass globe that was like the plasma deal.
Oh, yeah.
Then you put your hand on it, and like the plasma thing would find your hand.
Oh, yeah, and whatnot.
I can bring one of those. That'll be like the night light.
Yeah, that could be. I don't think it's enough light, though, is it?
Yeah, it's more than we're sitting in right now.
We are literally the only light in this room that exists is my laptop shining on my face, and there's a small blue light on our headphone amp. So that's all we got.
Yeah.
This is pretty much complete darkness, and it's not even completely dark outside. There's still some sun.
So one of the things is like kind of like the worst time of day to do something is right when we started this podcast, there's a neighbor outside that's in the middle of weeding their front yard in almost total darkness.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lawnmower. He's doing the entire lawn with a weed eater. My assumption is, and I loved playing these games, by the way, is that his lawnmower at some point during the day broke down. And that's why he's out this late, because it would normally take him a few minutes to mow a lawn. Now it's taking him 5 times as long because he has to use a weed whacker. And here we are right now watching a guy weed whack a lawn, and it's dusk outside. Yeah, it's a very inefficient way of doing yard work.
Well, switching gears on this Caterpillar tank tread is, I actually have a funny question to ask you. Have you ever, and whether this is, we were talking about nicotine or caffeine or alcohol or whatever, is done too much of whatever the thing is, and you realize in the middle of doing the thing that, oh no, I am way too far down that rabbit trail, and there is no getting off this magic carpet ride.
Oh yeah, that's why I quit smoking weed. I had a couple of rounds with pot that just was like, okay, time to retire. You're like a professional athlete. You go out there in that game. I think my pot smoking, so let's assume I'm a wide receiver in the NFL. I think my pot smoking mimics this story right here. I'm top of my game. I am on fire. I'm Hall of Fame level, and I feel great, and I'm just playing. And I go out during a game, and I'm running my routes, and as soon as I catch the ball, dude just crushes me. I'm not getting separation. And I'm thinking to myself, going like, damn, these cornerbacks are getting faster and faster. And then after it's all said and done, and I watch the film, no, they're not getting faster. You're getting slower.
Yes.
So I think I had a couple of nights where I would smoke weed like I usually smoke pot, and the weed got better, and I didn't get better.
Yeah, those are always interesting things. It's kind of like, I enjoy energy drinks. I've drank energy drinks since before even Red Bull came out. There was a product that was on the market. This had to be like 1996. There's so the tiny microscopic country of Liechtenstein, they were bought or canning. So I'd say it was probably like 2/3 the size of a can of Red Bull, and it was called Ecstasy.
Okay.
And so black can, big yellow letters, the letter X, the letter T, the letter C. And I remember it tasted like moldy mandarin oranges kind of deal.
Oh, God.
But I just remember drinking my first one. I went, I just got my driver's license. I went into the convenience store. I'm like, that looks interesting. And I remember I didn't realize that you weren't supposed to drink the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like, remember like the product Redline?
Yeah, I did Redline a couple times.
And I just remember it's like 30 minutes later after slamming this can of Ecstasy, I realized, oh man, I felt like I was in the movie Tron driving down the road, and there was no getting off this ride. So I stopped by Taco Bell to like eat as much as I could and hopefully slow down that.
God,
way.
energy drink and Taco Bell. I'm sure your gut was loving you.
Oh man, it was rough. It was rough.
I don't think Taco Bell's a solution for anything. Not even hunger.
Well, okay, so remember the old days, though, old school Taco Bell, like late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
That was great. I enjoyed that. New Taco Bell, where it's not meat, it's textured vegetable protein, that I'm not cool with.
Well, look we've had this conversation in other podcasts about what the fuck Taco Bell, what any fast food is, but Taco Bell in particular, yeah, that stuff that is, according to Taco Bell, they took out a full page ad, I think in the New York Times or something, saying like, no, it is real meat, and it's just dehydrated or whatever the fuck they do to it. God knows what it is. It's mixed.
Just don't eat it. Don't eat it.
Well, it's interesting that you're talking about the old school Taco Bell, because there's a dude on, I don't know if he's on YouTube or whatever. He claims to be a time traveler. Have you seen this cat?
No.
Yeah, and he, of course, he proves it constantly by going back in time. And like it'll be at some building that clearly is like an old building of something that was extinguished 40 years ago.
Okay.
And one of them is like, people say I don't go back in time. I'm not a time traveler. I'm right here at Taco Bell, and it is the old '80s Taco Bell,
the one with the actual bell.
Yeah, right. And he's just like, and he walks inside and he goes, and he's just talking mad shit to his haters, and he's showing like all the tables and whatnot. And then he gets a shot of the table, and on the corner is a QR code. So obviously it's some, a vintage one. They didn't. I'm sure they still exist somewhere. In America,
Right.
you get the old vintage ones. So I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, oh, there's your QR code, Mr. Time Traveler.
Man. Have you watched any great YouTube videos lately?
Oh, I've seen a bunch of good stuff on YouTube. But right off the top of my head, as I talk mad shit, I've seen a bunch of stuff. I can't remember any of it.
Well, I have this latest thing, and I won't go too far down this rabbit trail, but I'm loving searching for new. So there's a genre of electronic music that I really enjoy. It's called dark electro, and where they're taking artists and having AI basically come up with lyrics in the vein of fill in the blank for the name of the artist, and then having this AI model. And this is not going to be an AI episode, but this is about YouTube, is setting these AI generated lyrics to dark electro music.
Okay.
And there is a video. I think it's almost 2 hours long. I probably listened to this thing at least 30 times, and it's dark electro Depeche Mode.
Oh shit.
Man, and the writing is absolutely outstanding. I would go so far as to call it the best, not just lyrics, but poetry that I've even heard in the last decade.
That's AI generated, huh?
AI generated.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
So yeah, dark electro for all of you music heads out there.
Well, and then we had this conversation earlier. There's a YouTuber. There's a bunch of them, but the ones I've stumbled across. One guy who takes requests, and he can sing any style. He can mimic all these voices. And like somebody else, the one I saw was somebody wrote in like, "Can you do Alice in Chains' Man in a Box in reggae style?" And he has the reggae music. I don't know if he records it himself or if he AIs it, whatever he does. And then he'll do stuff like that. He'll sing it in reggae style. But the one that is most fascinating is this guy. I don't know his name. He will take an entire album, and he will sing every song in a different style. And now he doesn't do the full song. Obviously that would be a long ass video, but it's like 30, 40-second snippets. And he did like Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses, where he'll do Welcome to the Jungle, and he'll do it like if Motorhead played it, and it's just so amazing. And in the next song, It's So Easy, he'll do it as Oasis, and the next song he'll do it in the style of Nirvana. And he just goes one song after another and does it live. Like he's sitting there, there's no camera cuts, he just does it live and runs through the entire album. It's amazing. The dude can just mimic any voice. He sounds great as a singer. We had this conversation, and we may have had this on a previous episode, that the talent level of people, it just blows my mind since YouTube has come into creation, that you really think that, there's these famous musicians and just very few people have this level of talent. And since YouTube has come out, I'm like, I think that this talent level is a lot more common than we realize. Mm-hmm. It's just people aren't famous for whatever reason. Yeah.
One of my video or content creators I actually really enjoy watching, and it's so funny because Cookie's like, "What are you doing?" Have you heard of this guy? It's a white dude out of New York, Xiao Ma.
No.
So he's a younger guy who's completely fluent in Cantonese and Mandarin.
Okay.
And so he basically like live streams his life, like walking around Chinatown and going to like different cities around the world, but being the most unassuming person where you have all of these people, like whether it's a nail salon or a restaurant or a marketplace, and then he'll just start speaking like perfect Mandarin to them.
Okay.
And the videos are all probably like 40 minutes. I don't know why. I am so fascinated by it. I think it's just absolutely wild that apparently he studied in China for a couple of years, but he can read and write. And yeah, when it comes to like irregular YouTube content, I'm totally here for some Xiao Ma.
Oh, cool. And one guy that I've stumbled across, I don't know his name, I'm sure you've seen him. I think he's Korean. I don't think he's Japanese. I'm almost positive he's Korean. And he is, I would describe him as a Michael Jackson style dancer. And he floats. And so his videos are randomly going into places and then doing these dances. Like, I mean, he makes the moonwalk look shitty. Like, I'm talking about like he can slide
seriously?
around. And he looks like he's floating on air.
You don't remember who this is?
No. I swear to God, Google's good enough if you put in like, Korean Michael Jackson dancer, he's got to come up. Right. And this guy's got so many followers. And it almost, again, it could be, faked and, edited or whatever. I don't think it is. And it's absolutely stunning what he can do. It's freaky. And he just, and of course, this is a reaction is he does it just in front of people and everyone loses their shit. Like, oh my God, oh shit. And yeah, he's badass, man. I was like, wow, this dude is unreal. Did you find him? Joe is currently hit the light on his laptop. Just came on.
Oh yes, I have seen this guy. Yeah, he popped up to my Instagram feed a couple times, and he usually like in hallways or in malls.
Yeah, he just starts dancing.
Yeah,
That dude's bad as fuck, man.
Man, I see. That's one of those. I know in a previous episode we talked about like useless talents.
That's not. I don't see. That's not a useless.
But see,
talent.
I actually called that in as one of the useless talents I wish I had or could develop is to be able to moonwalk like that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess technically it is a useless talent to a certain extent because it. Look, if you want to be a professional dancer, you're going to be like the backup dancer for Taylor Swift or whoever the fuck is out on tour, and that requires all kinds of training. You're not just going to be moonwalking like this and get a job.
Right.
The only job you can get is to be on YouTube or Instagram and get a massive following because you just have this freaky ability to move like that, floating around.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Leave a like on the video. I know you're enjoying this. Can you shut up?
The internet's answer to a question that was never asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Have we talked about Cookie, my latest run? I introduced her to Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, fuck. That show is okay.
It's hold on.
What was her reaction to it?
Well, it's funny because the first 2 or 3 that we watched, she was just like bored to tears, and she's like, I don't find this funny. I think it was like the 4th one, like because you've got to be pretty quick, like as far as like the humor and have
it is like a nerds show.
You've got to have a pretty vast knowledge of a lot of really random stuff, historical things, pop culture. There's so many different cross references to like, a person will run into the room and then one of the characters will call him like, an evil villainous Raleigh Fingers. Well,
yeah, you got to know what that is.
You got to know who that is in order to like get that reference in the nanosecond that it happens.
Yeah.
So she's now using my quote fingers here. She's enjoying it because she understands the shtick.
Yeah.
But that's been a really fun YouTube find.
Yeah, they were the first ones to do that. Now that I know of, that concept of, you watch an entire film and it's always these old campy, really bad films, and there's just these characters sitting in the corner just roasting it as it plays. Mm-hmm. There's a guy on YouTube. I haven't watched him in a long time. I don't know if he's still making videos. His name's Brandon Tenold, and I think I may have talked about him on a previous episode. He watches just really bad films, and he doesn't do the entire film. His videos are like 20 minutes long. And he just absolutely just roasts the shit out of the bad acting, the bad writing, the bad character design, the names, the effects. He's funny. He's a Canadian guy. I don't know why I say that and it makes him any funnier, but he's a funny ass motherfucker. And he did this one. This is where I learned about film from him too. He did a whole series on the Bruce exploitation films of the 70s and 80s. And
the Bruce exploitation films.
Yeah. So after Bruce Lee passed away, they still wanted to, there was during that whole, karate, kung fu, martial art movie craze, they would get all these actors who looked like Bruce Lee and they would name them Bruce Lee, but instead of, L-E-E, it would be Bruce L-I or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he did this one movie where it's Bruce Lee, the fake Bruce Lee, and hooks up with an American kind of a knockoff James Bond character, and the guy's name was Dick Cannon. The character's name was Dick Cannon.
Of course it was.
Right, and all through the video, he purposely gets his name wrong, calls him Cock Hammer, and all these variations of Dick Cannon, and it's hilarious. So yeah, I learned about Bruce exploitation films. They're entertaining. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that whole Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's a great idea. A lot of people done really well on YouTube. Just sitting there roasting films. It's actually something I've always wanted to do. My only problem with it is that I don't think I have the comedic chops to be able to pull that off. Not without like sitting down and writing everything first and then memorizing it and then acting like it's all organic. I'm sitting there and I'm just, coming up with one fucking zinger after another and everybody's just cracking up like that dude is just funnier than shit.
Well, and speaking of MST3K, did you see on the Tilted Table 1 Instagram post where I had a recent post in the last week where it's Mystery Science Theater watching and roasting Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
Yeah, the original MST 3000.
And it had like the little infinity sign underneath of it.
Well, ever since that I did that thing where you have access to my Instagram, every time you post something, it goes right in my Facebook. Like people are liking it. Like I didn't post that, by the way.
You're welcome.
Right? I'm like, what the fuck does he have access to? Is he fucking running through my phone?
I think it's because I tag you in the posts.
It just goes straight to my Facebook.
And then so I invite you as a collaborator on the post, and then from there it must go directly to your.
It was the other day. I think I'd figured out why that happened, and now I can't remember what my theory was. Why all of a sudden you had full on access to my Instagram? I think it's because I created my Instagram, and then I created the Tilted Table Instagram, and I linked the two together. And so it's like, I'm assuming it's like part of my account. Like there's one and the same. I can just go back and forth between the two. And then when I gave you the password to the Tilted Table, suddenly you have the Tilted Table. And then when I accepted something, and I can't remember, I think when I posted a selfie of this is the reason I don't fuck around with social media a whole lot, because I'm the kind of guy that will post a selfie. Next thing I know, some dude has full access to all my social media. Somehow I think it linked it up because it asked me a bunch of questions like, do you accept this or do you accept that? And of course, like, any, modern American, I didn't read anything. I just accepted everything, started pushing buttons. And I think it probably asked if I wanted to link it to your phone, because I think maybe because you have access to the Tilted Table, it's assuming I that's my phone as well, or something to that effect.
Something, yeah, I don't know, but I purposely don't even click on it on your personal profile. I don't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, that's why I stopped taking dick pics. I'm like, I'm just joking to see these things.
I don't want to see what your search history looks like. My phone might burn in my hand.
Would you die and go to heaven? You got to tell St. Peter that? No, dude, that was Khabibi's phone.
That wasn't mine.
That was Khabibi's phone, for Christ's sakes. It was the link thing. He did it. It wasn't me.
One of my favorite channels on YouTube, though, is, do you ever watch The Dodo? Have you heard of The Dodo?
The Dodo.
It's like
I know the dodo bird, but
it's like a feel-good animal stories where people like will go and rescue abandoned dogs or cats or birds.
Yeah,
or
I don't
hamsters.
trust any of those things. I think they a lot of people gotten busted putting up like animals in dangerous situations and then saving them for clout. I'm not saying that channel's doing that, but I steer away from when I see like videos where people are like saving an animal or getting an animal out of danger or something like that.
Yeah, well, of course, with what you just outlined, that's wrong. But let's see, I'm looking at it right now. The Dodo's got almost 18 million subscribers.
God damn!
Yeah,
why can't we at least get like
19?
100,000?
Just 19.
I just want 19 million.
But I do love watching the Dodo. That's the ultimate YouTube rabbit hole for me to go down, is because they're always very heartwarming. They're cool. The stories are great.
Well,
it's
cool,
awesome to see the animals thrive. But yeah, when it's a good thing that I try not to get on you. Well, I don't get on YouTube at all during the day, but like at night, if we're having dinner or something, it's like one video bleeds into the next video, and you're like, oh my gosh, I should have gone to bed 2 hours ago.
Well, kudos to the Dodo, man. I just came out of nowhere and just like, just shit on him, accuse him of a bunch of shit. I don't know nothing about him. Right. So I'm sure the Dodo is legit. So I don't know anything. Don't sue me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just talking about what I've seen. That's all I'm talking about. I'm 2 beers deep. You know that? This is my second beer.
Do you ever, when it comes to, sometimes you want to burn time. So there's an A and a B to what I'm about ready to say. So I started carrying around this book with me because I wanted to be a good steward of my time and learn and not be doom scrolling all the time. Like if you go to like pick up your car from somewhere, or you're at a doctor's appointment, or you get to a restaurant a little bit too early, and you're sitting in your car, like it's like, you know what, I need to actually be like more wise with my time and like reading stuff and versus like scroll. Do you find that you are doom scrolling all day or no?
No, I don't really fuck around with doom scrolling. I've gotten caught up in the trap, but I'm quick to recognize it and shut it down. I can see. I used to not understand how anybody could like just do that. Like it just seemed weird to me. But then one day I got trapped in it and went like, oh, I get it.
It's like a vortex.
Yeah, I wish I could explain it. I know that's there's the scientific whatever the serotonin or dopamines that are flowing
Dopamine hits. Yeah.
What is serotonin? Is that even the right word? Am I making shit up now?
No, serotonin makes you like a sense of well-being.
Okay.
Dopamine's kind of like a nice swift kick in the ass.
Right. Don't have an English guy start talking about freaking medical terms. Next thing you know, I'm going to be throwing out words that don't even exist. Like it's the Theratin injection into your contortax. Like what?
I love the fact that you just invented a name.
Right. It's like that. Remember the In Living Color skit with Damon Wayans as the prisoner? Did you ever see this?
No.
Oh my God! It's this. The skit is this guy in prison, and it's supposed to be mocking the sort of the educated prisoner guy that that probably got educated in prison, and he would just sit there and try to philosophize and just make up a bunch of words. Well, if you look at the, and he just, I wish I could do it. I haven't seen this skit in 30 years where he just makes up all these words and try to sound, smart, and it's just terrible.
Well, speaking of making up words, I'm going to get maybe a little controversial here. When it comes to naming children these days,
that's a turn.
Okay, right. But see, here's where I'm going with it is, I'm old school, and I know George Carlin had a phenomenally funny bit about names. Like I think like old school names like Vince, Bill, Frank, right? I think these are strong names and not like, Flower or, what's another good one?
Well, like a just a soft name.
Yeah, just a soft name or whatever name or a made up name.
Yeah, I'm a teacher. I see names.
You see all of it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Insane fucking names that people name their kids. I had a kid named Quail.
Quail?
Yeah.
Like the bird?
Yeah. And what was odd about it, I don't think it's necessarily a bad name. It's a boy, and I thought that was kind of a feminine name for a boy. But I mean, I don't know. Is Quail feminine? It sounds feminine to me. It's not like Hawk, something like that, right?
Right.
So I mean, I think maybe I'm judging it based on the actual bird. I don't think a quail is considered a tough bird.
But see, I'm the point
naming your kid Dove. Okay. Well, I would assume that would be a girl.
I miss the Well, I miss a lot of yesteryear, but I miss the yesteryear of just very straightforward, like stay in your lane type of living, versus like these like weird, I don't know, fringe names, I guess.
Well, I'll give you one. I got a bunch of them, but my favorite, I had twin boys. This is, I don't know, at least a decade ago. So it was twin boys named Fame and Fortune.
That is not real. Is that real?
Shit, dude. Not only is that real, that's not even the oddest thing that I've come across. That's not even that out there. I had I
don't even know how to respond to this right now. Fame and Fortune were the twins?
Yeah, they were twin boys. Yeah. Yeah. I had sisters, and they weren't obviously they're different years. They were all named after major cities: Sydney, London, and Paris. I don't think that's even that odd, right?
I can actually that one doesn't. I think that's actually okay.
Oh, yeah, that's not really
the Fame and Fortune twins, though. That's amazing. How do you go through the rest of your life? Like, this is my friend Fame, or
I think it's like tattoos. They become so common that I don't think people really trip on that kind of thing anymore. I had a student, Bernard, and which isn't that odd, but Bernard, and it was spelled like BER with like an accent space NAH, Bernard, with an accent over the H, Bernard, and whatever ZAH or whatever, but it was all each syllable was its own separate spelling of the syllable out with a little accent over it. And she went by Nene. She didn't like her name. She said she didn't like it. She's like, it's just weird. And I think she was getting to an age where it was just like, she had, I guess at some point you're always explaining your name to people, and that's got to get, kind of just exhausting after a while. But I got a great story about a name. You're going to love this one. I had a student, so she comes to class. Her name is Trey.
Trey.
Right?
T-R-E.
Hold up, not yet. Slow down. It gets better. So her name is spelled on the roster T-R-A, right? And so I saw it in the first day of school. I said, Tra? And she's like, no, it's Trey. And I go, oh, okay. And she's like, it's Trishonda. I'm like, oh, okay. She goes, but it's Trey. I'm like, okay. So as the years going on, and I got to know her, and she was a senior, so she's getting close to graduating, right? That's by December. So I think this is when I brought it up to her. I said, hey, I need to talk to you. I said, you got to go down to the office and you got to have your name, changed to where it's Trishonda fully spelled out, because they're going to put T-R-A on your, your diploma. And she's like, yeah, well, my name's not Trishonda. It's Trey, spelled T-R-A. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I just tell people it's Trishonda because I got tired of explaining it. And I'm like, okay. And she says, it's not even Trey, it's Tra. Like my mother, and she explained her mother had a lot of problems. I don't want to get into it. But, so that's her name. Her name was T-R-A, pronounced Trey. And she got tired of that, probably getting teased her whole life, or, people kind of shitting on it. So she would just tell people her name is Trishonda. So fast forward about 2 months, she comes up to me and she asked me, now this is like 10 years ago. So the time frame is like 2014, 2013. She asked me, she goes, do you know who Vanessa Williams is? Mm-hmm. And I said, the singer? And she's like, yeah. And I was, yeah, she was like, former Miss Universe or something like that. She's like, yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm like, yeah, she is, And she's like, what do you think of the name Vanessa? And I'm like, it's a beautiful name. And she's all, I want to change my name to Vanessa. And I said, oh, that's kind of cool. And she's all, at this point, she had just turned 18. And she was all, how do you do that? And I'm like legally? She's like, yeah. She goes, I turned 18. I want to change my name. I want to change my name to Vanessa. And I'm like, well, I know you have to go down to the county, or you get a state, or there's some place you go to, file for this, right? And so, jumped on Google, and I probably spent maybe 20 minutes. We're just kind of like, oh, you got to go here, you go there, and you do this and that. And that was the last I had talked to her about it. And about a month before graduation, I come to school, I open up my roster, Vanessa appears.
Ah.
She had done it.
Hey, good for her, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally good for her.
So there you go, about names.
Because you shouldn't have to live the rest of your life because of someone else's bad or poor judgment. Right?
Yeah, I get that, parents always want their kids to be unique, and so they do that. And I think, it comes from a place of, positive. They're not trying to, name somebody to ruin them or whatever. But,
well, I actually
sometimes I don't think sometimes outside of their their family or their own thinking that that name in the real world could be a hindrance maybe, but beyond that, just having to constantly explain your name to people if it is really odd or a little bit out there.
Well, one of the ones that I was like, man, you gotta, and this is not somebody I know. It's it's a story I heard on a podcast from a priest, and it was where you call in, you ask certain questions, and the person, their parents named them Satan.
Oh fuck!
Right? Like there's no goodwill or doing the best I can or I'm trying to be creative. It was like you've literally cursed your child for the rest of their lives. And so that was the person that called in was explaining why it was so important as soon as they were able to actually change their name and not go through the rest of their life saying, my name's Sam. Oh, really? Is it for Samuel? And I was like, no, it's short for Satan.
Yeah.
Right.
What's interesting that actually happened. I know of a story, this was maybe 10 years ago, where a hospital blocked, signing documents to name a child. First name would be Hitler, and the hospital wouldn't allow it. And the parents turned around, and I think they sued or whatever, and it became like a big deal. So apparently, at least, I don't know what jurisdiction, if it's a state thing or if it's something that's maybe national, if a hospital can say, we're not going to print up birth certificates, or we're not going to allow you to, name your kids something like this. I don't know what the legality is. They blocked it, You know, they wouldn't allow it. And they're like, we're not going to sign the birth certificate. Whatever the hospital does to make it official.
Yeah.
They weren't going to do it if they were going to name their kid Hitler, right? And again, I get that. Like, obviously, Satan. Like, why would you do that? And again, you know, these are individual people that are probably not the brightest people in the world. They're probably very antisocial to begin with, and in their minds, this is okay. I'm sure the people that wanted to name their kid Hitler probably thought it was a positive. I'm assuming that they are some sort of neo-Nazis, and they see it as an homage to their, you know, their leader of the movement.
I guess,
right?
Yeah.
So what I find out about it is like, okay, if you are a neo-Nazi and you're at least got an ounce of intelligence in your head, and you want to name your kid after the leader Adolf Hitler, don't name your kid fucking Hitler. You name the kid fucking Adolf, you jackasses. Because that's not going to raise it. Well, I think it would raise some red flags, even still today. But no one's going to block you from, you know, naming your kid Adolf.
Right. Do you see any names like where, like with like musical artists, where the S will be a dollar sign, or like some characters like the artist formerly known as Prince?
Well, I mean, obviously, a lot of these new rappers have all kinds of variations where they use symbols and shit like that. I think it's odd. It doesn't gel with me.
Or didn't Elon name one of the kids like it was with symbols like Delta Gamma?
I know that he's got a couple of kids where they got funky ass bullshit names like that. I don't know. He's got 17 kids. That dude has a lot of kids. Man, I'm shooting out 17. I will say this: it may not be 17, but I think it's more than 10.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna hold. I'll put some money. It's more than 10. He's got a lot of kids. He's the richest man in the world. Maybe his kids don't have to worry about, you know, money, and their name's not going to make a shitload of difference in their life because they're going to be rich either way.
Well, I'm glad that you and I both have solid names.
Yeah, just regular old school names, right?
Joe, Sean.
Yeah. Well, and lastly, I'll point this out. Grace Slick, the singer of Jefferson Airplane, she named her kid God with a little G.
Seriously?
Yeah. I don't know if that was changed at some point. I feel like it was, but she did do it initially.
Wow. Well, Grace Slick definitely had her own persona. Yeah. That's for sure.
And you're better off naming your kid God with a little G than Satan.
Facts.
I have an important announcement for you, so stay tuned.
Yo, that's some next level shit, bruh. So you got me. Big deal.
The internet's answer to a question no one asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I am Stalin with an S money symbol.
Okay, and this is Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac Man. We out.